What's up, everybody? Keefe here. I am here with the guys from Rebelmatic. What is up?
Yo.
What's up? What's up, brother?
What's up?
Well, all right.
Brooklyn represent, Queens represent.
Represent the Bronx. Represent
Bronx in the house.
And Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens.
Yeah.
We got just about everybody except Staten Island that nobody cares about that much.
We all the boroughs.
Only Wu-Tang.
Exactly.
I think there's some good punk rock bands that came from Staten Island, so I never want to totally throw them away, but also they want to throw themselves away. You know what I'm saying? We start there. Yeah, man, brand new album next week, Ghost in the Shadows. I've been jamming it out. I was washing around my bedroom earlier, jamming to it, and I'm going to have to clean up in here later. But which is why you're getting this view, because the view over here is like, everything's trash.
Nothing to see here.
Fight Club in my room, basically. But yeah, man, I followed the band for a long time. This is a fantastic record. It's a timely, important record, I think, not just for the scene, but like for people to hear. I feel like, especially in these really difficult, this year has been a motherfucker, to just be frank. And I think in very turbulent times, we need empowering, strong, politicized music. So I wanted to kind of just jump in there about like just songs and meanings and, you know, what is this album? What do you guys, I know what it means to me. I just got to hear it. But like for the people who have yet to know you guys or yet to hear it, like tell them a little bit about Rebelmatic and what this album is all about.
This is Creature, vocalist. We'll introduce everyone, introduce themselves, but I'll get an idea. This is Creature.
I am guitar player.
Carnage on bass.
Ramsey Jones on drums, vocals. Background vocals.
So the album Ghost in the Shadows, the songs are various. It's the premise of it is like freedom, justice, equality. So we're dealing with a lot, and absolute and trauma and things we've been through. And growing up in New York City, like we define our sound as like James Brown in a mosh pit, and it's based is like pre-gentrified New York. So it's like, even though we're in a gentrified city now, our biggest influences and inspiration is the city before was that. So a lot of it kind of reflects those times. Hence, Ghost in the Shadows. Plus, my daughter came up with the title Ghost in the Shadows.
And to elaborate more on what Creature has said, it's like the ghost is what New York used to be. The club scene. I mean, the excitement of the art and spontaneity that occurred at that time, in the 80s and 90s, and now it's like gone. It's like it's just non-existent, and it's funny that the people that have gentrified New York are now leaving. It's like the irony.
Yeah, and it's like, it's looking like it's like the ghost, and definitely to elaborate, the ghost does represent, the former New York, and it's still in the shadows. And here it is, our music represents that. It's like we're in the shadows and we're coming out into the light. So and that's and the album with the songs, it has all the topics are various. Creature has a lot of subject matter within the lyrics. So not every song is about the same thing. It's like each song touches on a different emotion.
Pretty much.
So yeah.
It's hard for me to say what it's really about. I just play what I play, and then I don't know exactly, but it represents New York, though. It's definitely New York music.
He's like, that guy writes the lyrics. I don't know, whatever he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah.
Right on. I do find it a little interesting that there's a lot of sudden news stories about people, an exodus out of New York. Exodus is a very interesting word anyway for New York people, but like, the past flights in the history of New York City, I don't think people are leaving because New York sucks right now because of the pandemic. I think people have been priced out. And as my pops used to say in the 80s, fuck the New York Post, because they wrote the biggest dumb story about this shit. And you read it for the sports, Drop Dead New York and the history of literally hating the city that made them. But and I have a journalism background, so especially shitty of them. But yeah, man, it's like, if New York doesn't have a place, it's gentrification is part of every country's, you know, DNA is like, you know,
Yeah.
find the place nobody ever wanted to go. Like 25 years ago, you were scared to come to Brooklyn, or 30 years ago when I first
Yep.
started playing in bands, I was terrified to go to band auditions on the train to Brooklyn, a kid from the North Bronx. And I'm from the PJs, and get on the two train for like 3 hours and never like didn't know if I was coming. Didn't know if I was coming back in one piece, but like, you know, it's fine. Like sometimes cities pick themselves up by their bootstraps and transform. But if there's no place for native New Yorkers to live, that shit's whack.
Yep.
You know, it's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I was watching an interview with someone else that were talking about it, and they're like, "Hey, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" It's like, you know, and I kind of feel like yes, like gentrification is something we can't stop. It sucks. It is a form. It's genocidal. It's like if you're not for the poor people and the working people, it's like you can't live here anymore. But the working people and the poor people are the fabric of the city. That's what made the city what it is. Now we don't necessarily want to go back to like, you know, the last carton trains where you have to worry about getting robbed and all this other extra stuff. But at the same time, there's a certain flavor and fabric that no longer exists. But we're not a nostalgic act either. You know what I mean? We're not a nostalgic. We're not like harp on the past so much. We just kind of like came up with a certain era. So that dictates it's in our music very much so.
I definitely wanted to talk about that. Like there's really like a thread that runs through this whole thing, and all your music. I've been jamming a lot of your stuff, getting ready to chat. And you know, there's this really it's intelligentsia that I think is gone in a lot of the world. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
I'm pulling out big words on a Saturday. I had two coffees today, so I'm like Cornholio. Nice.
Intelligentsia. I love it.
Feeling like Beavis. There's a lot of Cornholio energy here. And, yeah, but like, it's you know, listen. I love punk rock. I love heavy metal. I love death metal. I like all kinds of genres. I'm a journalist, so I tend to be a generalist as a reviewer and a writer. But I think there's just a lack of intellectual music right now. This is what we need is to feed minds and souls to help heal what's going on in the world. There's no other way. So I see a band like you guys, I feel like a kinship to like a Fever 333, but it's not that, you know, obviously the historical stuff. I know you guys dig Bad Brains and Rage and all that stuff. And we all do. Public Enemy, of course. I hear, you know, KRS One, Boogie Down Productions. You know, intelligent stuff. Stuff. So like, it's what we need right now because there's a lot of dumbed down shit right now in every style, all around.
Absolutely.
It's definitely a lot of labels are to blame for that because they don't want people to be educated or they just want the groups to entertain. They don't want to have them be taught anything about the past, and the past is what's reflective now, what's happening now, you know. So we're not gonna dumb down our music or dumb down our audience. When, you know, we're trying to educate people, and they already know, but we want people to see, you know, the reality of what's going on and with the police brutality, the injustices that are going on in this country that's always been here. But you know, a lot of people they say, oh, just they're quick to shoot you down and say, oh, why you talking politics? Just entertain. Stick to entertaining. We're not clowns or puppets, you know.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think too, Karis once said the best, like edutainment, you know, where there is music that is informative and that it's a message and it is socially aware. It's a level of consciousness there. And at the same time, it still got to kick ass and rip. You know what I mean? No matter like what you're talking about, it has to kick ass. We're still artists and musicians, but there's a level, there's intelligence, there's a consciousness, there's a level of, I don't want to say spirituality, but it's, you know, there's PMA there. There's a lot of stuff it's definitely in the music that's appreciated there. But yeah, that's what we've been doing. That's I know when I'm like literally when I'm writing stuff, I'm thinking about. I don't really overthink it. I'm just kind of wired like that. You know, I mean, certain stuff just comes out. But I know one thing I didn't want to make writing wise. I didn't want to just do this whole sex, drugs, and rock and roll because that's not really. I think it's been done. It's been done to death already, and it doesn't need me to add on to something that's already been like done. So I wanted something that more reflected where my mind is at, kind of where the group is at. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Right on, I hear that. And just a little further more on lyrics and words for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I love that it doesn't really matter what, you guys have already kind of like a really cool chameleon vibe going on musically. You could jump from
Mm-hmm.
genre to genre within songs. Some stuff's very heavy,
Mm-hmm.
some stuff's very upbeat, some stuff's, could be funk, R&B, whatever. I love that just like whatever it is, your vocals can just flow and go with whatever's needed, but also the message is always never lost, which I like.
Thank you, man. I appreciate. I mean, I pride myself on that, and honestly, I think it's. Listen, we're kids all from New York. We all kids from New York. We grew up with eclectic musical palette. So we listened to. We didn't just grow up listening to like metal. We listened to metal. We listened to hard. We listened to punk. We listened to hip hop. We listened to funk, and that bleeds into our music. So and I have a hip hop background as well. I started off in a hardcore band. I did hip hop, and all of us in there have similar backgrounds. So I know how to like. I'm not gonna scream on every song. I'm not gonna sing on every song. I'm gonna like every song has to be taken care of delicately. We respect the music. We're artists. We're musicians. We're like this is what we do. And frankly, I just feel it's boring to me to hear someone does the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean? Like if I was doing one same vocal style over and over, I would just feel me as myself. I would think it sucks. You know what I mean? So I get bored of hearing it, but it's not really premeditated. I just hear the music and I'm like, oh, attack it like this, or attack it like that. I don't really know what I'm gonna do until I hear the music. Guys come up with the music and we come up together and just like, oh, right, like this, and this, this may be more louder, this may be more sung, this may be more spoken. I don't know.
Right on. I think it's interesting that we're seeing kind of a cultural shift as music fans. We were all huge music consumers back in the day, whether it was radio or records. And I think about bands that have come from like, whether it was the Bay Area or New York City or Atlanta or DC or Chicago, it seems like these urban centers have a lot more open-minded musicians who are like, oh, mix this with that and be able to pull it off. And now it seems kind of weird, even though I don't always love streaming. I do think it's interesting that the availability of music is kind of turning fans into genre hoppers too. I wanted to get your thoughts, the whole band, on that.
I think it's great. I think I think us in the band we're natural genre hoppers. That's what we are. So to see like a younger generation of people kind of being like, oh, I listen to this hip hop song, I listen to this pop song, I listen to this hardcore song, I listen to this metal song, and just could kind of like, like it's like a time or whatever, they just like a song or a couple of songs and just find it because it was on a playlist. That's pretty cool, man. Because they're not sharing tapes no more. They're not going to the record store and necessarily buying certain things. How we might have been like, yo, I got a new, whatever band. Check this out. I'm here hopping for you of this. I got a mixtape of this cool music. So I think that's their way of doing it, and I think it's great.
And the thing too, like I used to work in a record store for years, and I see that. Yeah, I see now that. And the thing is, the difference between the past and now is that, in the past, you had radio to kind of dictate what they could gear towards which audience, like metal. They had metal stations, R&B, disco, hip hop, but it was segregated, Whereas streaming, you get like you get these genres, and then people will always be curious to search for other genres there that they will see on their list. They say, hey, if you like this, then check this out. So it gives them the opportunity to like dig deeper into the genres or varieties of music that are out there. If we were curious back then, we had to search out for ourselves. Like look like literally be in a record, not a record store to hit, like somebody they're playing a record or an artist that we don't even hear on radio. That's how we found out about that artist or music, and then we go see the live show. But streaming has opened up that door to like introducing you to other genres out there, other artists that you wouldn't normally radio wouldn't normally play. So that's the advantage of getting access to newer music and newer artists that are coming up. So I dig that.
Carnage.
Yeah, with the internet, that makes it so much easier to listen to all types of genres. I mean, prior to that, you have to spend money or take somebody else's words for it. Like, oh, okay, listen, check this out. You have to actually buy it. But now that you can stream it. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I like that. Even my son now is getting into different kinds of music because of that.
And it's so accessible.
And people from other, younger than us, listening to bands that we listened to years ago. And it's like, oh, okay, you know about them. It's like, I came across it, whether it was a commercial or a movie or something, and I just loved it. And that's great.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful thing because, the fact that you have all these different genres together that you can jump from and be able to listen to all in one fell swoop. And from that, you get introduced to each band within that category, each artist within that category. And what it does, it opens up, your musical palette as well. So whereas genres you may have never thought about listening to, now all of a sudden you become in tune with and like, oh, okay, well, I like this now. And then what that does is that puts you on the journey to research and find more, within each genre. Like, well, who's like this? And it really does, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it creates a rabbit hole. You can be on the internet all day.
Yep.
Yeah, you can be on there all day searching. But and also not to mention it's way more cost effective now. So now I can look back and like you all said, you'd have to go out and buy it, or you have to go to the record store and you'd have to just take your chance of spending your money. But streaming is great.
It's like that's the good part of it. The flip side is people lose the experience of actually finding the artist and smelling the vinyl and whatever, you know what I mean, and actually digging. So that's the flip side, and plus, you don't get paid as much for streaming than people actually.
Yep.
The positive side of streaming is that, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Indeed, anybody watching this after you liked and subscribed this video and my channel, and please like and subscribe Rebelmatic's channels and stuff. Absolutely. You guys have an awesome playlist on Spotify. It's kind of how I segued from one thing to another here. You do have like a Rebelmatic radio channel on Spotify, which I thought was really awesome and is really just as you would expect. It's eclectic and it's interesting and it's heavy and it's got some soul. I loved it, man. I was like, I could just listen to this all day. It's almost like my own mix with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You guys in my mix now.
Thank you.
Cold.
Word. We have some playlists, but nothing fancy, and just like occasional things we do. But end of year stuff and Halloween and creepy shit for Halloween and all that stuff. But yeah, man.
So you got to listen to the new record. You listened
I've
to
got the whole record.
Got the
whole record. Thank you. Alexa from the PR company hit me up and was like, do you want to interview the band? I try to, I engage agency. I try to, I want to come prepared. So if I can, I try to listen to records. And, I do my homework and do my due diligence anyway as a writer. So thank you. Right. And again,
thank you, Keith.
I can't wait for everybody else to hear this because it's dope.
Thank you, Alexa, too.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, really dig it.
Let me before you go to the next question, let me ask you what did you get from it when you first heard it? Like, what was the energy you got from it?
I felt good for the first time in a while. I've just been very given to, with everything going on in the world and just my own personal BS. I've been very, kind of down, and I need some uplifting shit right now. So I got a real charge from, like I said, I was moshing around up in here. Not a lot of surface, not a lot of square footage in this little Bushwick apartment. This is the lair where I do everything, my videos and a lot of my interviews come from here right now because there's nowhere to go. But yeah, man, I was jumping. It was like all the feelings and really, like I said, smart, ticked all the boxes. I spent this whole week down like a politics rabbit hole, so I was getting that kind of fed. And I like music that gets me on a lot of levels. So just had everything I like.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Keith.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's great, man. That's great.
I'd probably say Blood and Gold and Show and Prove and
Ah,
Insult to Injury are probably like my three favorites, but the whole
Okay.
thing is
Awesome.
good choice.
Awesome.
Nice. I like
and
Show and Prove a lot, actually, too.
yeah, can we take back the OK sign, or is that still too racist to use just generally? I don't know. Fucking
Okay.
people. Anyway, you
I
know,
don't
because
know.
like you got people like
They
perverting, corrupt everything.
Corrupt everything, man.
You can't have anything. Can't have, I don't know if you guys saw the horrible news. I guess the Chris Cornell statue in Seattle got vandalized last night, or the other, and so
I didn't
Wow.
know
like
it
just
had
like somebody was making a statement. It's like all the major cities. A lot of I'm very proud of my fellow citizens who are protesting and keeping the fight
Absolutely.
going. Probably the most prolonged protests I can remember in my lifetime.
Absolutely.
And I'm getting up there, and like I'm very, even though I wish it didn't happen in the first place. I don't want anybody to lose their life. I don't want anyone to get murdered. But at the same time, you can't be quiet anymore. You have to get out there and they won't listen, so we have to make them listen. I'm not
100%.
advocating. I don't like looting or violence or whatever. But like also, this is what they respond to. They don't listen, so you have to get their attention. And of course, I post the news about Cornell. I'll stop in a second. I post the news about Cornell, and immediately people are like, I swear to you, people are like, Antifa this, BLM that. Where's the Obama statue I can tear down?
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from? Like people are just showing their ass at every turn, and they just. I love the internet, and I'm working marketing and media, so like I'm comfortable with it. But I understand that it's also a gateway to assholery, and people just have no brains, and they just they just blurt out shit.
Unnecessary evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I tend to now, in the space I'm in now, I stay abreast by I can't go down no rabbit holes anymore. It physically hurts me. You know what I mean? It physically just fucks with me just because I feel like people have made a choice. At this point, if you're a functional adult, you know what's going on in this country, and you're just making a choice not to deal with it. And I don't. It's at this point it's ridiculous. I can't. It hurts my head and physically. It's hard to wake up sometimes when I just think about how silly and ridiculous people are, and for injustice like this. People realize that you're talking about basic human rights. You're not talking about something elaborate. You're talking about basic human rights, and people are like in this defiance about human rights. But if it was flipped around, when people are upset about they couldn't get their haircuts, but you're talking about people are protesting about humanity. I mean, at this point, it's like you're ridiculous, and you're making a choice. You want to stay on that side of history and stay on it, but just don't be upset when you're held accountable.
Right.
You know?
I don't believe in cancel culture. I call it accountability culture.
Well, that's what
And I got that from, I won't take credit for that. I got that from Alex Winter from Bill and Ted. He tweeted that out like a year ago, and I was like, dude, that's it. Like cancel culture is very catchy and alliterative, but like literally it's accountability. People don't want to be accountable. And that's literally the most un-American thing I can think of. A country built on protesting and hypocrisy and other things, obviously. And I never thought in my lifetime. I'm like 3-4 generations in whatever what I've seen to see like men and women getting lynched and having it be called a suicide and then just getting forgotten about in my lifetime in 2020. I was like, no, man, we can't be quiet anymore. You can't. I don't have a big platform, but whatever I have, I'm going to use it constructively. And if people don't like it, they can split. Carlin said there's 2 knobs on a radio. One changes the channel and one turns it off. You don't like what I gotta say, or people don't like what Rebelmatic has to say, or they just won't hear you. Don't listen. Go listen to Taylor Swift or whatever the fuck you like.
I've gotten to the point too recently where like I posted things about Black Lives Matter and John Lewis, and then I would have 1 or 2 people make the most inane comments. So it got to the point where I had to like block them, like, and these are supposedly friends of mine that I've known for years, and then their true colors come out once you talk about equality, and then they bring up the whole stereotype of black on black crime. And I'm like, I'm done with the same excuses. It's like all we're asking for is equality. All we're asking for is the cops to stop killing us.
Justice, pretty much.
It's justice, and you got to get this resistance from people that can't even like accept that. It's draining. Like Creature said, it's draining. So
yeah,
I mean, the reality of it is when people say no politics and music, they don't want to hear about it, it's usually coming from people who don't want to hear from anyone but themselves.
Yep.
Anything that's gonna rock, it's like whether it's black folks, whether it's indigenous people, whether it's gay, whatever it is, it's not them. So they're like, no politics in music, no politics in music, man. But but the whole thing, their whole shtick is based on politics. Whether they know, whether they're intelligent enough to know it or not, or accept it. The whole I'm a working class man and this and all this stuff. That's
politics.
Whether you want to accept it or not, maybe whether you don't want to look at it like that or not, it is. You're making a stance. So I don't necessarily look at us as like an overly political band, but that's for the socially addresses topics and stuff. But like we've all experienced, and it's been experienced white supremacy and racism growing up. My father's from Lynchburg, Virginia, so like a lot of stuff is not like it's not really new or foreign. It's not. I'm like not surprised by a lot of stuff. I'm glad that the dialogue is there for people to actually have, where it's like I said, no one can. The pandemic made it where point that no one can act like they don't know what's going on, especially if you have sound mind. You're making a choice. So what is there still to talk about? As far as that, as far as like, there's no convincing no one. I'm not convinced. I'm not pandering to you. I don't care if you like accept it or not. I don't care if your insanity makes you say Black Lives Matter is a terrorist group, and I'll say, well, Ku Klux Klan a terrorist group, and I've never known anyone Black Lives Matter to burn someone's house or hang anybody. And I'm not even just using Black Lives Matter. I'm just saying anything. People are insane in their comparisons. It's insanity, and this is a form of sickness. So it's like I want to focus on things a little more positive and be aware of what's going on. I'm keeping the PMA going.
I love it, man. Keep that PMA all the way, every day.
Absolutely,
love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Speaking of the pandemic, which is horrible, and I hope it ends soon. We've had our lives and our outlet taken away from us. We talked about this a little before we started recording. You guys are such a great live band, and even your music video is insane and really is just like a sample of what you guys can bring. I had people describe you guys live to me as like spiritual, a word you used before, and also like a happening, where it's like it's not just like rock people or whatever. It's like could be anybody would show up and still enjoy themselves, which again I think speaks to the band. And but without shows to do, how are you guys kind of coping? Obviously, we're all together now, but have you guys been able to even get together in all of this?
We've been getting together.
The first 4 months, 3 or 4 months, we didn't see each other. We spoke to each other. We didn't see each other. And then eventually we start rehearsing again just to, practice. And, we've done a couple like live performances, virtual performances. We did a virtual performance that's coming out actually on the 28th. I think it's for like, Arkansas Times Present, like Lago and a couple other people have been hosting it. So with some other bands, that's coming out the day our album comes out. So we did that. We did a couple other things, and we got things. We're very we're thinkers. So we're gonna think a way to be still safe, and at the same time, try to get people close to capturing that experience until we can actually fully get out there. And we've been I've been talking to people from a lot of places, and they're like, "Man, we can't wait to get out to the West Coast or the UK." And I'm like, "Dude, when it happens, believe me." We're gonna bring the energy we bring. Like, listen, we got a year rest. You gotta think, we're ready. We're an oiled machine. We're ready. So when it clears up, y'all see the videos, you heard it. We're gonna bring that. You're gonna witness it. So we're here to share that experience because it is something like, it's something we don't take it lightly. We don't take performing lightly. Whether it's 20 people there, 200 people, 2,000 people, we're gonna give it everything we got every time. I think I speak when I speak for the whole band like that. That's how we are, and people see us and they're like, "Yo, I can't believe like there's 25 people and you guys play like it's a stadium." Like, if we don't play like this, we're not gonna be able to play in stadiums or bigger things because we're gonna slack. So all we know is 0 to 100 when it comes to like giving everything we got. We pride ourselves in that. That's show and prove. We're like that's the mantra. Like show and prove every day. Get up and like get out there and show and prove what you are. You know what I mean? Like you really are. We are what we say we are. So we love performing. We can't wait to get back to performing. But we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. We're very resilient people, and we're gonna continue that legacy.
And like I said, I saw a lot of bands out there. I've been out there, Williamsburg, Manhattan. I've been seeing bands here and there, and that's just that's just assuring me that there's a way we can go out there and do it too. We're
gonna figure it out. We're gonna make sure we follow the proper procedures, and but we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna, you know what I mean. You'll see something about it. I mean, we might not be in a venue per se, but you'll see us. You'll see us.
You'll see us.
We are known to adapt to any situation. So this is like a minor thing. I mean, it's a major thing, but it's for us. We have done things as Creature has mentioned, and Alk has mentioned that we can play in any circumstance. We can overcome any circumstance. So we know we have to always think ahead outside the box of getting ourselves out there to people and playing and taking it to the stage. Even if in the streets, take it to the stage. That's what we're all about, man. No compromise. We take it to the stage, man.
Take it to the stage, sucker.
We love our fans. We love our community. So we're gonna play outside the community and involve everyone from the West Coast to Canada to UK. We're ready, man. We're ready.
Yeah, and when it opens up, like we'll be ready. We'll be ready. We ready right now. If it opens up right tomorrow, we'd be ready to go. Like literally, we'll be ready to go. We go rehearse tomorrow, today, and we'll be ready for the road tomorrow. Like we're ready. Don't believe me, we're ready. We didn't sit around and got like silly and you know what I mean. The first 3 or 4 months, like I said, we didn't see each other, but we're back at it. We're back at it. Like
we've been playing. We definitely ready. We've been playing.
We've been playing. We've been rehearsing and
new songs, everything.
Yeah, new songs, and we're very well prepared. So if anything happens, we're ready to go.
When it happens, when it happens,
you see who's there, so I'm ready.
Well,
nice. I appreciate that, man. Any final thoughts or stuff you want to share? Stuff you've been beside music, stuff you've been digging on to keep yourselves occupied and sharp in the meantime?
I mean, it's all like intrinsically all the same to me. Like as far as like music, ancestors, family, it's all the same. It's like really being a good person, like really working to be a better person. And being a better person for myself means it helps me be a better artist. You know what I mean? Constantly looking like finding inspiration and just like and continue what we're doing. Like I feel like we're doing something really cool, and I feel like it's special. And we're putting our heart into it. It's organic. So I mean, for me, it's like I got 2 children. Most of us have children, so it's like spending some time with your family, enjoying life. And actually, this thing has gotten me time to even reflect. I mean, I'm a reflective person naturally, but to just think of like, wow, listen, there's people losing their lives this way. To even have a place to live, you have to be grateful. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're not playing music and we're missing money. There's a lot of stuff that it's an income. It sucks, but to still be here and have sanity, have people who care, and have even be doing this interview, like, and you taking your time, even though it's your job, to listen to our music and grab that means a lot. Like I try not to take things for granted because of whatever. We're a musician, we're artists. It's like to me, like I'm working against a better person. You know what I mean? To constantly be better and just like by me working to be a better person, it's like my music becomes better. Hopefully, that's the goal. But if it doesn't, it's like shit. I'll be all right regardless, and we'll be all right because like this is bigger than music. Music is our vehicle to get what we're saying across, and we pride ourselves in it, and we put a lot of time into it, and we love it, and it's cathartic, it's therapeutic, but like it's like it's living, it's life, man. It's really about life. It's like like hopefully the music we do affects people how the music we grew up listening to and loving affects us. You know what I mean? So that transforming how John Coltrane affects me and Flying Family Stone affects me and Bad Brains affect me. Hopefully, people who hear us will like that affect them like that. And if not, hopefully, I don't know. So I'm just digging on life, man. I'm digging on life. I'm digging on I'm digging on life, man. Checking in with the ancestors and just checking in with the living as well. Ghost in the Shadows dropping 28. Ghost Cold, Mag. You know what I mean? That's what it is. New York City is in the building always. This is Creature. I'm not going to talk no more.
I want to also add that I wanted to give a shout out to a lot of the other bands that are on the scene with us. Ma'afa, 1865, Backslider, Winter Wolf, their family, Universe Ignore Her.
Yeah.
I just got to say we all are in the same community. We love one another, man, and we creating the scene, especially at Max Fish. We've been holding a residency there, so I want to give a shout out to Max Fish also. Who else?
Red Recordings.
Red Right Recordings.
Our record label, Mark O'Connell and Dan Wallace. And
we're getting a senior moment here.
and everyone that supported us and supporting us.
Yes.
And people who take even the time to listen to us. You know what I mean? Because it's like there's a lot of music out there, man. And to listen to people and to get what we're doing, that's a powerful shit, man. It's not guaranteed in this life. Only thing guaranteed is you die. That's the only thing guaranteed is that you're dying. Nothing else is guaranteed. So what you do with this is important, man. It's important. That's where my mind's at. That's where I'm at right now. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else want to give shout outs, but let me shut up, man.
Well, so I'm gonna give a shout out. I think give a shout out to everybody right here because we're doing this. And
yes,
this is, this is a great thing, Keith. Yo, man, been a long time since I've seen you, man. Been a long time since I've seen you, man. So I was like, I'm happy that you're interviewing us today, man.
Oh, they know each other. That's dope.
I know them since 1998.
Wait, you guys know each other? I didn't know that.
Yeah, from the Blackthorn. Up in 205.
Oh, that's right. Y'all both from the Bronx. Y'all from the Bronx is in the building.
Right. That's right. Yeah. I got Army with me right now. You got Soldier with me now. I got Soldier with me now. Why? Now two Bronx.
Now the Bronx is flexing over this guy. Like, but he's in Bushwick like you. You're in Bushwick too. So look at that. The Bronx moved to Brooklyn.
We'll have to get it up.
I dig the Bronx. I used to live in the Bronx. I lived in the Bronx for a while.
Yeah, I lived in the Bronx for 5 years.
Nice. Want to give a shout out to Red Rock Recordings. I'm excited that Ghost in the Shadow is coming out, and especially the production by Mark. And
Mark O'Connell.
It's like, to have this kind of pristine sound of that record, and it just like captures us. How we really are. It captures us live, like that real raw energy, like with really big sound. It's wonderful. I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, pretty soon it's coming out, so we're good.
Alcatraz, anything to say?
Anything else from you, David? Maybe. I think you're the only guy that didn't say too much.
Well, yeah. Well, I usually give a shout out to just everybody, in Corona, everybody in Brooklyn that messes with us and stuff like that. And,
he don't like doing it because he don't want to miss. He don't want to forget somebody.
I don't want to mention any names there, but everybody in Corona,
everybody who knows who they are.
Everybody that loves Rebelmatic, that's greatly appreciated.
Nice.
So,
can I just tie it up to like thank you, Keefe. Thank you. Thank you for the. I mean, thank you, Alexa, for setting up, and thank you, publicity. But like, thank you for taking the time and like listening. And you know, it's always refreshing when you talk to someone who gets it. You know what I mean? Who gets it because of their not even just their bandwidth, but they've been through enough and listened to enough music to understand some of the references, and you know, it's refreshing. So I want to thank you for doing your due diligence. I know it's your job, but still, it's always good to hear someone that like really understands where we're coming from. It's not just like, you know, oh, you're, you know, like we know we're not no typical hardcore band. We know we're not no typical. It's nothing. You know what I mean? We know there's something different about us, and we know what we do. So when people get it and like listen and hear it and appreciate it, and especially, and it's always good to talk to a native New Yorker too. That's always like the, you know what I mean? We're biased. I'm biased. You know, I mean, I got love for everybody. I got love for everybody in the world. You know, the passport's popping. We love everybody, but it's still like, you know, we're a New York centric band. We're not a New York based band. We are a New York City band. We didn't come here for a summer and claim New York. We're here.
Right.
We're lifers. We can
Born
move
bred.
tomorrow and we're still gonna be New York City band forever.
That's right.
So like that's I wanted to emphasize that because I think sometimes I hear like, you know, some bands come for a summer and they're like a Brooklyn based band or something. It's just corny.
Yeah.
But
Right.
that's my own, you know, old man rant. But I just
It's all
appreciate
good.
you for taking the time.
Yeah. Oh no, man, it's been a privilege and a pleasure to hear from you and have you also share your stories. So I'm very thankful. David, William, Creature, Kyle Carnage in the house. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Keithy.
Thanks for spending this time. I'm gonna go back and put the record on now and break up the rest of my house. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Keithy, play it at 11.
Always.
Oh,
I don't know anything else. I don't know. That's why I can't hear. I'm deaf. That's why I shout all the time. Exactly.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
You guys
it.
have a great day. Thank you so much.
You too, brother.
All right.
All right.
I see you.
Take care.
All right.
All right, peace.
Peace.